I remember this situation in Washington, D.C. that you write so vividly about, where members of the Black Caucus, John Lewis and others, said they were called the N-word, and we won't use that word on these, on these airwaves, 11 times. And they
15 times.
15 times. Thank you for the correction. And it was a big story. The mainstream media ran with it, and I will tell you this. We had people there, and they said, Armstrong, it did not happen. They said, that did not happen. I said, no one would just make up that type of lie. And they said it did not happen. You have said in this book that there are those who are so bent on their agenda, so bent on dividing America and maintaining the perceived power that they have, that they will absolutely lie. And the media will brand this lie as the truth. And when they realize that it's not, they will never issue an apology or make amends for it.
This is what is at risk. I've been to 30 Tea Parties. 90% of them I've been invited by women, like Sarah Palin and Michelle Bachmann type women, who pick me up in SUVs and take me into town and take me to the Tea Party. At those Tea Parties, the best speakers tend to be black conservatives.
But they're not the best speakers because they're black.
No, there's a reason why these two dynamics are happening.
You have to explain that.
Because men, because of political correctness, have become eunuchs. They're afraid of their shadows. What is at stake here is that blacks and women are creating the Tea Party, making it a place that, unlike the Republican Party, which is a toxic environment for blacks, and that's been the media's job for years, this is a place for blacks and women and Hispanics to go to recreate this country in its original constitutional vision. And that is the threat. That is why they had to fight. That's why they had to lie. That's why Nancy Pelosi...
But these are vicious lies.
This is
these
what happened is this.
Lies.
What happened is this, and all I have to do is point to the architecture of Capitol Hill. There are tunnels between the Cannon House building and the Capitol, and that is how Nancy Pelosi travels. That's how she gets to her Capitol to vote. But on this day, when 40,000 taxpayers, Tea Party members, got out there to say, kill the bill, kill the bill.
What bill?
Obamacare. The day before Obamacare, there was a Tea Party rally there. And Nancy Pelosi orchestrated, I guarantee you, this is my positing this, but it's pretty much undeniable when you see what happened. We started to get word out that Barney Frank was called a negative word to describe a homosexual on Twitter. People wrote about it. Wow, I can't believe Barney Frank was called that by these Tea Party people. They've wanted to have bad behavior from the Tea Party. They've never gotten it, but this time they got it in one time. Somebody called Barney Frank the F word. And then we heard that black congressmen were called the N word. And next thing you know, the media picks up on it, and after 2 years of trying to find a racist incident or a bad incident,
they created one.
They created one. And
I want to say this. I don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Andrew Breitbart, to show his character and sincerity about this, offered members of the Congressional Black Caucus $100,000, $100,000 if they could prove in any instance where they were called the N-word.
Once, not 15 times. All I needed was once.
That's right,
on
once.
tape.
And what happened? They ignored your plea. $100,000.
Okay. But here's the thing. Here's what they were trying to do. Jesse Jackson Jr. was walking through the crowd trying to get a YouTube moment of somebody to say something. Congressman's car, they could have walked underneath. The most unpopular members of the caucus walked through that crowd hoping to inspire a Tea Party person to incite something. How can I prove this? Nancy Pelosi, an hour after the alleged event where the N-word was hurled, that's a place where Congressman Carson said he thought that he was going to be hit by rocks. Nancy Pelosi walked through the same unsecure grounds with a massive gavel that was about 10 times the size of a gavel, with a grin on her face that was ear to ear. She wanted people to yell at her. She could have walked underneath. They were all looking for to incite the crowd. Sheila Jackson Lee was giving an obnoxious V sign from the Capitol building. They were trying to get the moment, and they didn't get it. Here's what Congressman Carson said, and it's on video. I was walking down the Cannon House steps. I was walking out of Cannon, and a mob of 400 people surrounded us. People started to hurl the N-word 15 times, he says. 15 times, 15 people. Kill the bill, N-word, he said. Kill the bill, N-word. He said it was a page out of a time machine. And then the police saw that we were in peril, and I'm paraphrasing him, but it's pretty much verbatim. And then the police saw us and took us out of safety. There is no police report that this happened. There is no police person. There is no audio of any of the 400 people coming forward to say that they heard it. Nobody, one person could have been there who could have been a liberal saying, I saw it. Nobody saw it. Congressman Carson created such an image that is not what Barney Frank said. One person said something. He created a vivid image that he described as a page out of a time machine. Those are his words. And when I heard his description and I juxtaposed it with what people were saying around there, like your friend said, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. I was so upset that I offered $100,000. And guess what happened the next day? They shut up. They didn't think that there was an idiot like me who would take on race, that was a white guy. White guys are supposed to sit back and take the racism thing. And I'm like, no, I'm going to take this thing head on for Clarence Thomas. I'm going to take this thing head on. This is the battle of my life.